Decorate a wedding cake with me. So I delivered this cake on the weekend and it was actually my first 3-tier heart cake. And honestly, I've been excited to make this cake for months. Most of the time my wedding cake requests come in really last minute, but this one was booked in a while ago and I'm obsessed with the colour scheme that the brides went for. They went for a classic retro cake colour scheme, pink, white and red, which I thought was so cool. It's such a change from the typical white wedding cake. And when I dropped the cake off, this colour scheme made perfect sense. I've inserted a few clips at the end of this video. This cake matched the decor perfectly. I have noticed that people are moving away from the typical white wedding cake and going for something a little bit more colourful. Now that I think about it, I have actually made quite a few different coloured wedding cakes, and the retro style is definitely a big hit at the moment. So this cake wasn't actually that big. I'd say it served around 40 to 50 people. It was basically my large heart, small heart and mini heart all stacked on top of each other. Oh, and I love the flavours that the brides chose for this. The bottom tier was lemon sponge with lemon curd, the middle tier was vanilla with raspberry jam, and then the top tier was coconut cake with raspberry jam. And then of course my buttercream is always white chocolate flavoured. And I always get compliments on the flavour of my buttercream. I use the white chocolate flavouring from Flavour Factory, which you can literally get from Amazon. It's linked in my storefront in my bio, and they do so many other flavours. I've tried the vanilla custard as well, and that's really nice. So as you can see, the piping on this cake is really similar to what I do on my normal 1-tier cakes. So it's basically just the same pattern done 3 times. My customer didn't have any specific design requests, so I just went for what I usually do. But I did use different size nozzles on each tier just to keep the proportions the same. So I'm not sure if you can tell, but the shell border on the bottom of the cake is way chunkier than on the top. I had to fit some writing on top of the cake as well, so I was just mindful of that. So you can see here, I'm just filling in some little gaps before I piped on another shell border. Heart shapes are slightly trickier to work with and they are harder to stack. I noticed it's really hard to get an even gap all the way around the heart, so I had to correct this with my piping. And I saw this piping technique on one of April Baker's London's videos, and I absolutely love it. I literally just used a angled petal tip to do this, and it just looks like fabric draped onto the ruffles. And the thing I like about this technique is it doesn't have to be perfect. You kind of want it to just look like it's naturally fallen onto the cake. So I went in and added this onto the whole cake. As I said, I was basically just doing the same thing 3 times, but I found this really therapeutic. I just really enjoy decorating this cake. I'm not sure if you can tell, the lighting isn't consistent in this video at all. I was decorating this quite late on Friday night, and I was fighting to get this filmed before the sunset and before my Chinese takeaway arrived. I literally haven't had one for ages, but my brother was visiting last week, and usually when he's home, my mum goes crazy with the cooking. You can definitely tell who her favourite child is. But we decided to have a chill night and we managed to find a takeaway in